How's it, everybody? And a warm welcome to the Web3 show. I'm your host, Philip Kalinko, not joined by Cade today, but by legendary Andreas Salinas, WGMI media partner, who's sitting in for Cade tonight. Welcome to the show, my brother.
What's going on, man? I'm super stoked to be here. Incredible week we've just had, so we're going to have lots to talk about, which is great.
What a week. Thank you for being here tonight. A reminder that nothing that either of us say is financial advice. We are not financial advisors. And if you haven't noticed this last week, the Web3 space is incredibly risky, and you should always do your own research and be very, very careful. Today's episode is going to be slightly different due to the events that have transcribed. And I think, with that said, let's keep to the market update. If you're not already, follow me on Twitter. I've been tweeting like absolute crazy the last couple of, the one night I did 120 retweets of what was going on. I'm going to take you guys through all of it. And if you're not already, follow Andreas as well. He's really big in the space. I respect him so much. A lot behind the scenes with WGMI. I really, really love what they're doing. So if you're not already, definitely follow Andreas as well. His links are in the description below of the video. Alrighty, let's get straight into it. So we're having a look at the cryptocurrency market. Really not as bad as it could be, considering where we're at. We've got ETH sitting at 1,250, Bitcoin at 16,780, Solana back to $16, and BNB's actually held up really well, sitting at 287. We did go as low as $1,050 on ETH on Wednesday, and we did go as low as 15,000, just above 15,000 on Bitcoin on Wednesday. So we have come back a bit, and mostly the reason for that is the stock market is up. We saw that the inflation numbers were much, much better than we expected. So I'll just jump onto the stock market for you guys. And that's signaling to us that there might be a bit of easing coming in the future. The 75 basis points is now looking very, very unlikely, and we're probably going to get a 50% basis points raise on the next sitting, and that's all as a result of the CPI data that's coming in. So you can see today alone, the stock market's been great. S&P 500 and NASDAQ all up across the board. And really, if we didn't have what we had in this last week, I would imagine that we'd be sitting at a $2,000 ETH now. I don't know, Andreas, what do you think about that statement?
For ETH, I'm not really too shocked. I think it's holding up well for the what's it called, with everything that we've been going through. But I think what happened was what usually happens when some bad stuff happens in the space, which is they take their money out of the shit coins and then they put it in their either stable coins or into Bitcoin or Ethereum. But I know everybody's freaking out right now, but if you look at it, man, we're kind of at the same price that we were 2 weeks ago. And with the market almost like in capitulation, it's not that bad, like in retrospect. I know Bitcoin has definitely lost a lot, but Ethereum, I think it was the same price that it was literally about 2 weeks ago. If you can check, you can fact check me on that.
No, for sure. It was about 1,650 2 weeks ago. I agree with you. I think it could be a lot worse. You know what's a pity is that we were getting momentum. It
Mhm.
finally felt like, yes, we were still in a very deep bear, and we know the macro's crap, but it sort of felt the last couple of weeks. We had that art gobblers drop, went straight to 15 Ethereum. We had KPR, it went straight 3x, and is still sitting 3x over mint price. And it sort of felt like blood was coming back.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
now we have this, which is just absolutely crazy. I mean, I truly think we'd be at $2,000 ETH if it wasn't for FTX. We were going there. We were at 1.6, sitting comfortably. And with the stock market like it has been the last 2 days and CPI looking better, we would really be in a much different position if we didn't go through what we went through this week.
I agree. Yeah, with it's just it's an unfortunate set of circumstances we're just put through. Because I mean, the way I see it right now is that it was like Coca-Cola and Pepsi, and then Pepsi just failed. Like it's like that big in the NFT, or not NFT space, the Web3 space in general. And I was just like, damn, it was just weird because you saw all these tweets from Sam Bankman-Fried, like, or Sam, and just that they lying through their teeth in a lot of things. And it was just like, damn, like, it's like they say all these things on Twitter and it's just like, oh no, it's okay, like we're gonna be all right. Like I remember he tweeted something about like, oh, there's these random rumors popping up, I don't know what they're talking about, we're totally fine, this, that, and the other. Next thing you know, they're $8 billion in debt. And it's like, what the
So
fuck?
that's the other funny thing. First, there's a lot to say, but the first thing is that it's now as high as between 20 and $50 billion if you include Alameda. So every day
Oh
it's gone
yeah.
up. It started at about three. Everyone said it's about a 3 billion hole, and that was when CZ was looking at it. Then it's
Mm-hmm.
like it's more like six. Then it's eight. Then it's 10. And then today, with all that's transcribed, they're putting it. A Bloomberg article put it between 10 and 50 billion, which is
Oh
absolutely crazy. So I think something really important to the viewers, who my priority is always with the viewers all the time, always has been, is if you have any money on any exchanges in any capacity, to be extra safe, I would pull it off. I tweeted this a week ago in my Discord. I've told this a week ago. If there's anyone watching either live or is going to be watching afterwards, if you have a cent anywhere, I would take it off. Take it off an exchange, get a hardware wallet, hold it in your hardware wallet. Like we say, not your keys, not your coin. And we've seen that here. Just to put this in perspective, FTX was either the second or the third biggest crypto exchange, depending when you looked at it. So Binance has been holding the top spot, and you had FTX at number 2 or number 3. If they can fail, anyone can fail. Yes, we know that we're finding out, and slowly we're finding out, because there's a lot we don't yet know. We're finding out what happened a little bit. But if they can fail, anybody can fail. That's the truth of the
yeah.
matter. So you gotta make sure that you take anything that you have off anywhere that you have it. That's number one. Number two is that you got to know that this too will pass. Right. So, in the end of the day, we saw this with the railroads. We saw this with all new innovation, that there were people that came in that had bad intentions into an amazing technology, and people got wrecked, absolutely wrecked. So, this does not change the Web3 the positive sides of Web3 and what Web3 has to offer. Unfortunately, it does set us back years, because consumer trust, is going to take a long time to recover from this. There's a lot of people, and my heart goes out to anyone that's lost or may lose money, had money in FTX. There's going to be a lot of people that never step foot in crypto space at all again as a result of this, and you can't blame them. And I think the biggest risk that we have now is the contagion risk. The amount of different projects and different institutions that are going to come out as being reliant on Alameda, that are going to slowly start failing. And we saw a near miss today with Bored Ape Yacht Club, who Alameda Research did sponsor or invest in, and they came out and said, look, a few days ago we managed to move the money that we did have on FTX off FTX. They initially said they had nothing on there, and then they came back, they said actually they did, but they moved it a few days ago, right? So they just dodged a bullet, but they have 90 people working for them with their finger on the pulse. I'm sure that there are many NFT projects, DeFi projects that had money sitting there, which was not irresponsible to have it on a reputable exchange, that are now in big trouble, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's just unfortunate. It's just like exactly what you said. I don't know. Did you see the statement that CZ put out? But
Yeah, I'm gonna take you through all of that, but we can talk about it now. But I'm gonna take you through all of it. I've got it all here.
No, because you kind of touched on it, which was the main part, which is like no one's winning right here. It's just like, damn, like it really is going to set us back. But you did say at the same time that the trajectory of the Web3 space is still going to go up. And like you said, every great technology comes with people that are just going to try to, they're going to try to take advantage of it. And I mean, I was actually talking to my buddy the other day, NFT for noobs, if you're familiar with him. He was telling me that he was reading an article about how banking system came about. And pretty much when banks came around, like it wasn't like they were just like, hey, we're banks and now we're established. It was like a ton of banks businesses failed to the point where we have Chase, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, and like Fidelity as like, investment banker. Like, but there was a lot of banks before them that failed, and a lot of people lost a lot of money. It's not the same type of trust that they have now.
Yeah, and we saw that with everything, with the internet, the same thing. I mean, we all know the internet bubble and the bust there. The railroad was massive because you had so many companies coming in and doing it, and then you left with one or two now, right? But railroads have changed the world, literally. And I feel the internet has changed the world, and I feel that Web3 is going to change the world and is changing the world. But this is part of being early, and I know it's cliche and I hate saying it, but it is. It's part of being early. There are going to be bad players in everything that you do, but especially in a new technology like this, right?
Right.
But I still can't believe it. I cannot believe it. FTX, to me, I hear FTX, and I just think to myself, safety. And I think to myself, I mean, I really, if you had asked me 5 weeks ago or a month ago, Philip, I've got some money, should I put it on Binance or FTX? Is it safe? I was like, put it on either of them. But they're safe,
I would tell you differently because I've seen this before. I mean, especially when Celsius went under, and then there's been just a lot of stuff, and it's just like, honestly, I always tell everybody, get your shit off those platforms. Like I remember when I got my mom on this stuff, I was like, get it off Coinbase. And it wasn't that, it was like, I just don't trust them because it's things like this that can happen. So it's just like, they're speculating that crypto.com, or at least I'm speculating that crypto.com could be next because of Alameda.
They've already come out today. There's some problems there. Yeah. I don't know if the site went down or if they're stopping stuff. They're not accepting USDT. Right, yeah, but the crypto.com is definitely linked to it. So I think let's push pause and let's give a very brief history because there's been a lot of coverage on this. Let's just show what's going on and what's happening, right? So it started here. If we're looking over here, this is the 8th of November. So, all right. So the first thing before this started, there's been a long feud between SBF and CZ. SBF is the founder of FTX, or was the founder of XTS. CZ is the founder of Binance. Binance invested early on in FTX, and was part of that investment was they got $2 billion worth of FTT token, which is the token that is FTX's ecosystem token, right? Now, a couple of days before this, SBF and CZ were sparring backwards and forwards a bit on Twitter. And then CZ came out and said, look, they're going to be liquidating their $2 billion worth of FTT token. And that started sparking a whole lot of worry in the space. And then we saw this tweet here where SBF came out. He said, I've got a few announcements to make. Things have come full circle. FTX.com's first and last investors are the same. We have come to an agreement on a strategic transition with Binance for FTX.com. Our teams are working on clearing out withdrawal backlog as is. This will clear out liquidity crunches. All assets will be covered one-to-one, which we now know is bullshit. This is one of the main reasons that we asked Binance to come in. It may take a bit to settle, etc. We apologize for that. The important thing is that customers are protected. A huge thank you to CZ and so on and so forth. Then we had CZ come out the same time and say, this afternoon, FTX asked for our help. There's a significant liquidity crunch. To protect users, we signed a non-binding LOI, a letter of intent, intending to fully acquire FTX.com and help cover the liquidity crunch. We'll be conducting a full DD in the coming days. Okay, so here you got two different tones. You've got SBF almost saying a deal is done. He did say that they are still pending a DD over here, due diligence, but pretty much saying that it's done. Right. And then you've got CZ saying, hold on, we want to try and help for the user's sake. However, we're looking into it and we will let you know. So I think everyone in the space was a little bit uncertain because they thought, okay, there is a chance that, things are bad at FTX by this point and that the due diligence will uncover some stuff. But everyone was sort of hoping that this would go through for the sake of the space.
Yeah.
So let me pause there and get your take.
No, I definitely agree. I definitely agree, bro. 100%. Because there was a sense of security. Honestly, that's kind of how Sam Bankman-Fried gained his rep, was when things were going under. It was like, oh, I'm the big dog. I'm just gonna keep saving people. I forgot.
So he saved Voyager was one of them.
Mm-hmm.
There was another one that I also can't remember, but yeah, exactly right.
Yeah, and it just made him look like the big dog, and it was just like, oh man, there's gonna be a savior. Like, this isn't gonna hurt the market, because it's like, damn man, we just keep getting hurt over and over again by just irresponsible actions. Really, I mean, at the end of the day, these were, I forgot who said it. It was employees there, that these were pretty much just kids living in the Bahamas and all working together. And it's not, they couldn't have been organized, because I mean, what they were doing essentially, they were just playing with people.
Andres, I'm missing your mic. Every time you touch it, it goes like really static, really static. But when you don't touch it, yeah, perfect. When you don't touch it, perfect. But as you raise your hand each time, it's going static. So I know it's like force of habit, but it's like bad static. So try not to.
Yeah, I lost my train of thought, but thanks for that.
You were saying they're young kids living in the Bahamas.
Yeah, they were just like young kids and living in the Bahamas, and it's just like it just makes the space look so bad, because there is somewhat truth to that, and within the Web3 space, that there is a lot of kids that are just new to the space, and they are just pretty much they have to. I mean, dude, he had billions and billions of dollars. Like he was really taking care of people at the end of the day, and like playing with people's like life savings. Like, I mean, there was one screenshot on Twitter. I don't know if you saw it. It was circling around. It's like $900,000 or somebody had an FTX, and it's just like, that's gone. Yeah, just gone.
So the interesting thing is that when and we'll get to where we're at the moment, but when they do look at it, they will try to see what assets they are, and typically, even though it's a long process, we do see that there is often recovery after many years, and I think it's the Mt. Gox where we actually saw that because the Bitcoin increased so much over the 5 or 10 years that it took them to figure out that they've got now more than enough to pay everyone one-to-one, which is quite incredible, right? Because it took so long and the asset appreciated. And while, like at this point now that FTX has filed bankruptcy, and we'll get there, no one can touch what they do have. So, and we'll look at what they do have. So they've got Solana, they've got all these tokens worth, lots of money. And by the time these guys finish winding up and the attorneys come in, Solana could have 10x'd, and everyone might get their money back. So, I mean, obviously there's a lot that needs to happen, but in the end of the day, hopefully there will be some happy stories at the end of this. But it is too terrible to see what's happened over here,
Yeah, and Solana right now, I believe they're releasing is it 80,000 or 800,000 SOL? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, so they said we're actually gonna look at that, but then they said it was going to be paused, and then they said they are again. So I'm not 100% sure if it has or it hasn't, but we're literally going to be diving deep into. But I haven't told you, I haven't told the viewers. So let's just do it. We're going through the story of what happened this week, all the way until we get to the point, and as briefly as possible, because most people know, but still giving you a good idea if you don't, to the point where we are right now. Okay, then we're going to have a look at that and say, okay, what is the effect of this on other companies held under the Alameda umbrella? Because there are 137 companies that are put into liquidation. Which one of those could affect the crypto market? Which one of those could affect the NFT market? And that's going to lead us very deeply into Solana and the future of Solana and how this impacts. Because we had SBF holding 10%, or roughly 10% of Solana's tokens are held by SBF, right? So that's a huge amount. I think the fact that it's been put into bankruptcy at this point, if he hasn't sold them already, he in theory, he doesn't have access to them anymore because he's resigned and they've brought in, the bankruptcy lawyers and things like that. So hopefully those tokens are now safe. And that's probably good news because it's going to take them a long time to figure all of this out. And we're going to look at it. Then we're going to look at the viewer questions that we had. We had some really interesting questions, which are cool. If you had 10 Ethereum, just so you can start thinking, Andreas, if you had 10 Ethereum and you could buy 3 NFTs at the moment, which would you buy? So NFT Nate asked us that, right? We're going to figure that out. The nice thing about this week, the good news, is that 10 ETH can buy us a lot more nice NFTs than it could a week ago because of the floor prices. So you and I are both going to look at that live. I don't know the answer. I've got some ideas, but I don't know the answer. Then we got CryptoDream as well, who asked about Solana NFTs. So literally the Solana debate is going to feed straight into that. And then we're going to look at a couple of interesting news stories as well. So that's the progression for everyone. And yeah, that's where we're going. That's the journey. Maybe I should have started with that, right? All right. So now we had, this is the 9th of November, so 2 days ago, catching you guys up. And it says, as a result of the corporate due diligence, as well as all the latest news reports regarding mishandled customer funds and alleged U.S. agency investigations, we've decided that we will not pursue the potential acquisition of FTX. What happened at this point was this is when the crypto markets crashed. This is when all the floor prices crashed. And this is when I tweeted out, you should be buying NFTs when there's blood on the streets. When people are greedy, be fearful. And when people are fearful, be greedy. And I did buy a couple at that time, which I'll share with you guys. But yeah, so that came out. Binance is no longer able to buy it. I think most people feel that if Binance won't do it, that there isn't anyone who would do it responsibly. So anyone who is responsible that has this amount of money, $10 billion at the very least, why would they put that into something when FTX's reputation has really been very badly tarnished, right?
I agree 100%. It's at this point, it's like you don't even know who to trust. I know CZ seems like I personally have always been a big fan of CZ. I think he's funny. I think he's actually really smart, and he's always trying to put the people first, and he's done well at presenting himself like that. I don't know if you ever saw that tweet during Super Bowl, which made me like even more bullish on him because it was like, it was very interesting insight. And it was something like calling out, I think it was crypto.com, but it was more shade. Like it wasn't like a direct ad tweet, but it was pretty much, hey, we decided not to, it was a hard decision, but we decided not to invest in Super Bowl ads, not buy an arena, not buy this, that, and the other, so we could build and focus on what's important. And then at that point, I forgot, I think it was crypto.com that had to lay off like 10,000 people or something like that, or I forgot who it was, so don't quote me on that. But on that day, Binance was hiring like 2,000 more people, which was pretty interesting, And
also like, another dig at SBF by CZ,
yeah,
because they had the same advert. FTX had that the huge advertising that year.
I mean, look at that. Like, I was wondering, no one's really talked about it, but what's going to happen to FTX Arena in Miami? Like, what?
So they'll sell it. Everything's all the assets will be sold to pay off the people that are owed money. The unfair thing, and this is really unfair, is that the consumers fall last. The users of the exchange are last in that hierarchy. So the first people that have to be paid off in this circumstance are the people that the company owes money to. So other companies. then you have to pay off the shareholders, which is unfair. That should not be the case. And then only whatever's left is when you pay off the consumers. And that could be anything from cents to the dollars to the full amount, like we said in some cases with crypto, where that crypto appreciated. So it's going to be really interesting to see what is left after everything and how bad it is. The problem is, I think that it's a lot worse. Ooh, and is that you? Not touching. All right, let's see.
Is it static?
Yeah, bad. Like,
here, I got an idea. Running your show, I got an idea. I'm gonna mute myself.
All right, try. All right, so then let's get into where we are now. Okay. All right, so we come have a look here. Let's share the screen. All right. So then we have Binance coming out yesterday and saying, look, we're publishing our cold wallet addresses and balances for 6 out of the 600 coins, more to come. They're showing you what their holdings are: 4,750 Bitcoin, 4.8 million Ethereum, 17.6 billion USDT, 21.7 billion BUSD, 601 million USDC, and 58 BNB. These were public before anyway, but just organized together for your ease of viewing. And they're going this saying, look, we want to be transparent. What's interesting is that after this tweet, a lot of other exchanges have come forward and said that they will be also providing Merkle proofs of proof of funds, right? Proof that if you deposited money into their exchange and you want your money back together with everyone else at the same time, this is how they intend to repay you. Because that's effectively what has happened here with FTX, is that they were lending out the money that people had deposited with them for safekeeping, despite them saying that they weren't doing that. They were lending out that money to get funding and using that funding to invest in other companies and other things that they should never have used the client's money to secure the loans to be able to do what they were doing. So now what we're seeing is Binance, as well as some other exchanges, coming out and say, look, we're going to be giving our Merkle proofs, which is basically, to keep it very, very simple, on-chain proof of wallet addresses that you can view that show you, okay, Philip deposited, here's his address. Put that address in and you'll be able to see where they hold Philip's 1 ETH that he deposited. And you can do that with every single address through this. So that's what the Merkle proof is. And I think long run, this is what it always should have been, to be very honest. And I think long run that this will hold the whole space in good stead, right? And really be positive for the space that the lenders are doing this and being transparent about it. So hopefully it's going to lead to that. We then have this tweet by SBF, also the 10th of November. He says, I'm sorry. Number one, I'm sorry. That's the biggest thing. I fucked up and should have done better. Now, first of all, I think it is possibly a mistake to apologize. I mean, I just know insurance companies have always, my dad told me, never, when I was young, if you're in a car accident, never ever apologize to the other driver, even if you were completely wrong, because the insurance company may not pay the insurance claim if you had said, I'm sorry, I was wrong. Because then you're admitting a liability and they can't fight it. So I don't think that this is clever, that he starts off by saying, I'm sorry. I really don't, and I fucked up. I really think that this is going to come back to bite him. I think he's got bigger issues than admitting guilt. I mean, I think it's pretty easy to see that he's done wrong. But either way, he says, I also should have been communicating more very recently. Transparently, my hands have been tied during the duration of the possible Binance deal. I wasn't particularly allowed to say much publicly, but of course it's on me that we ended up here in the first place. Number 3, here's an update of where things are. Just remember, this was 24 hours ago. Hey, this is all about the FTX International, the non-US exchange. FTX users are fine. Now, that is not true anymore. FTX US has also been put into bankruptcy. Then we've got here, treat all these numbers as rough. They're approximate. FTX International currently has a total market value. So, okay, it goes on to say a whole bunch of rubbish. That's actually painful knowing what we know now to read. Right, more is going to come out in the next 2 days. And yeah, so that was his whole tweet thread at that stage. Andreas, are you back there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah,
Can you hear
and there
me?
hasn't been any noise. I thought you were still muted. It's been so quiet.
Oh no, so was it static the whole time, man?
No, so once in a while it would become like unbearably static, like really, really bad.
It was probably the XLR cable that I had through the Gator frameworks thing. So I'll
Yeah,
definitely check up on that. But yeah, no, I put in a brand new XLR cable and just a different stand for right now.
it's perfect. It's absolutely perfect.
Awesome.
Awesome. Anything you want to add at this point, or should we carry on?
No, I don't. There was one thing that you said, but I don't remember. I don't want to backtrack too much.
No worries at all. All right. So I don't know why this tweet's unavailable. I hate that. I hate when something that I've researched gets deleted. I hate
I
that.
always wonder why people delete
I
their
don't.
tweets.
Here it is. Here it is. That's weird. So this is now today. Hi all. Why start with hi? I don't know. Whatever. I'm really just pissed off with him.
Yeah,
Today,
his message was just bad, man.
yeah,
The way, yeah, there's no doubt about it. Like even with what you said with the admitting
the
guilt, it was
sorry.
like, dude,
Yeah.
like we all know you screwed up. That's like, I feel like this
Do you
public
know?
statement should have been like written by like his PR
Yeah.
team.
For sure. The other thing that's really upsets me about all of us, me included, is in hindsight now, it's so easy to say and see the way he writes and think why didn't anyone question and ask for proof of funds? But I was like looking up to SBF as this amazing, guy, 30 years old, a billionaire, revolutionized crypto, has built an absolute empire.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sort of angry with myself also. And like I just can't believe I actually can't believe it, to be really honest. The whole situation, I cannot believe what has happened.
It's super unfortunate, man. I almost don't even have like an explanation for it, just because it's like, how could you mismanage funds so bad? Like the whole thing that he took pride in himself on was being transparent, and not lending out or playing around with people's money. And it was just like, okay, cool. But at the end, it was just like, how many more times are we gonna get burnt? And to be honest, it sucks, but I don't think this is the last time that this is gonna happen
Well, that's the
to an
point,
exchange.
is that I think all of us need to learn our lessons and not take anything on face value. And just because a guy says, "Oh, I promise you your funds are safe," don't believe it. Don't believe it. You want to see proof. Even this Binance tweet that we showed, it's a great start, but show us the proof. Show us proper proof of it. Give us cold wallets. He does say the wallet addresses are public, great, and he says there's more to come. Let's ask him when more is coming. Let's look when he brings more. Let's keep an eye on these
Oh
wallets.
yeah, that was one of the things
Yeah,
that you were talking about. Yeah, that was exactly right. It would be cool if they actually are constantly doing that with the world and just posting
yeah,
like,
yeah.
hey, I saw you looking up like a certain website where you could look it up or something, or like they posted it publicly. But that kind of stuff definitely will make a lot of people feel a lot more safe. At least we're like watching where's the money, like what's going on. Like that's one of the things that's interesting about Web3 is the amount of transparency. I don't think there should be as much as transparency as there is, but it's at this point I feel like we need some sort of, especially if you're going to hold your money in a what is it, in
An
an
exchange.
centralized exchange. I think that
Yeah,
they need to have that stuff public for sure,
yeah. And here
because
they
it's like,
have.
hey, we can back
Binance
it
has
up.
done it here. Yeah, I mean, here's the wallet addresses. Again, don't just accept this. Let's click on it and let's have a look, right? But I mean, you sort of take things at face value. And I think a good lesson from this is that you can't. You can't take anything at face value. I see. I logged into my account by mistake, Andreas. So can you imagine? I mean, yes, 252,000
No big deal.
Bitcoin in this wallet.
Trying to see it. Oh, there we
Wow,
go.
incredible. So good for him. Good for him. He's at Binance. He's published all their different wallets here. I don't know that this is an exclusive list, but definitely a great start. And I'm sure, knowing guys in the space, that there will be live trackers now set up on these wallets that you'll be able to go to a website in the coming weeks, and it will show you live, exactly how much there is on every single one. Not on a Binance.com, but a third party, so that it can't be juked or anything like that, right? All right, so then we have him here. We have new FTX CEO. Okay, hold on. So now we say they all start with "I'm sorry, I fucked up," right? So I'm getting lost here because they're all starting
It's a
with the
lot.
same
It's a lot,
thing.
man. It's a lot for sure. I don't know. I'm kind of
Yeah,
just like
we've seen this.
I'm over this. It's like, and then I
Yeah.
woke up to the news today. Did you? I think you already touched on it, but you haven't said it on like a pull up that that they went bankrupt and that he stepped down
Yeah.
finally. And it's just like,
So
damn.
that's exactly it. So this is the one that I'm looking for here. It's where we were up to. Okay. So we say hi. He says, "Hi all. Today I filed FTX, FTX US, and Alameda for voluntary Chapter 11 proceedings in the US. Number two, I'm really sorry again that we ended up here. Hopefully things can find out whatever. Number three, this doesn't necessarily have to mean the end of the companies. It really does. Let's just be honest. Or their ability to provide value or funds to their customers. It really does. I'm sorry to say. Number four, I'm going to work out giving clarity on where things are in terms of user recovery. Again, this is just showing that he's got no experience whatsoever, which is incredible to think
Yeah,
he was running a 36.
everything he's saying
He's
is full of shit.
he's not allowed to. He's not allowed to. After this, now he is not allowed to communicate anymore with users at all. Once you've stepped down and you've now handed this over to the lawyers, you are not allowed to communicate with customers. So this in and of itself, I don't think he did it on purpose, but this in and of itself is potentially a crime. I don't know the laws in America, but I know here that if you pick up the phone to a customer and speak on behalf of a company that you've just put into voluntary bankruptcy, you are doing a crime. You are not allowed to contact companies that you deal with. You're not allowed to contact customers. You're not allowed to do anything. You can't interfere. You got to let them do their work. So this is also just showing that either he knows nothing at all, which is just scary to think that people trusted him with $36 billion, or that he's just got really bad advice, or he's completely warped at the moment. He doesn't know what is happening.
Yeah, I mean, I can't even fathom being in his position, to be quite frank. It's an unreal set of circumstances that he's being put through. I mean, but I still think he's just full of shit. Like, I don't think he knows what he's doing or what he's really done. Like, I genuinely think, because I mean, the thing that bothers me is, like, even the day before, like, he literally put out a tweet that it was like, no, don't worry, this is this, that, and the other. It's like, no, you're full of shit and you're fucking lying. And it's just like, dude, I'm just sick of that shit. I don't like these bad actors anymore. It's just like, this guy claimed that he was like, oh, I'm just this young guy and I live in a I have a $200 million home, but I drive a Toyota Corolla, this, that, and the other. And it's just like, I feel like it was all a fucking facade at this point. And it's just like, it's annoying.
Yeah, so he said a week ago that everyone's safe and backed 1-to-1. Then he says, look, FTX is not looking great, but FTX US is perfect. You're all fine. And now, FTX US is also done. So here we are. Where we are now is that FTX and all the 137 companies under Alameda have been put into voluntary liquidation, including FTX US, and now it's going to be handled by the lawyers. And the lawyer who's handling it is the lawyer who handled the Enron. You remember when Enron went down all those years ago? John J. Roll III. So he was brought in years ago to oversee the liquidation of collapsed energy company Enron following its accounting scandal. And the good thing about this guy is they call him the Pitbull, because he doesn't leave anything to chance. He goes over everything, and then he goes after every cent to try and recover it on behalf of the shareholders and the customers. So I think this is actually a really good name to be coming into the space. Obviously, it's sad that we are in a space where we need a name like this to come in to try recover funds. But CEO John J. Ra III has come in to try and handle the bankruptcy, right? Any thoughts there, Andres?
Oh shit. Hello, can you hear me?
Now I got you. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I had myself muted. No, yeah, I totally agree, man, 100%. But I'm not too familiar. I was gonna ask you because I was a little embarrassed. Who is he?
So he's a very high, like a attorney or well, one more than a lawyer. We call them attorneys. I don't know if it's the same in the States. And he basically is a bankruptcy attorney. So when big companies go bankrupt and file this, they send attorneys in, and they basically are forensic attorneys. They figure out where the money's gone and try and claw back or hold on to any assets or money that is still there, to stop it going down further, so that they can hopefully make good to as many of the creditors as possible.
Got it. Got you. So yeah, now I understand why you're like, oh yeah, now that makes sense.
Yeah. So he's a really big name for doing that. Obviously, in crypto, nothing to do with crypto, but a big name in doing that. So I believe he can be fully trusted to do a good job there, right?
I mean, at this point, it seems like it's a lost cause, to be quite frank. I'm not sure how they're going to recover from this. But yeah, I mean, exactly what you said. It's going to get the investors back their money and then the shareholders. But what about the retail investors? And that's the part that I feel like, how much are they actually going to help them out?
Yeah. And even if they are able to recover, some or most, if we're very lucky, it's going to take years. Like I'm talking potentially 5 to 10 years. Because
100%.
this thing is just, if we just have a look here at Alameda Research, it takes us nicely into our next one. Just to try and give you guys an understanding. I mean, this is just a basic Venn diagram that was posted of some of the holdings. I mean, I try to follow it. So you got the founders at the top here. Here's Sam Bankman-Fried over here. And here you can see Alameda Research, but then there's also Alameda Research Ventures. And then there's also Hilltop and another one, Paperbird. And then from Ventures goes to Alameda Research Ventures Ltd. And from there, it goes into, it's just absolutely insane. And this is not all of it. I saw this tweet today, Blockworks listed all of the companies under Alameda Research. And this is a list of them.
That's a lot.
Yeah, there's 137, if I'm not mistaken. So we got Blockfolio, Blue Ridge, a whole lot of ones that start with BT, Clifton Bay Investments, Cottonwood, just in case anything stands out to us, Deck Technologies, Deep Creek, Digital Custody, then all these different FTX ones. This is crazy. FTX Canada.
Look at all those FTX. Oh my God.
Europe, Hong Kong, Japan, marketplace, products, propriety, services, structured. So look, I would imagine on the FTX side of things, some of them probably were formed to do certain things, right? But might not be being utilized much. But definitely ones like FTX Canada, Japan, like the country one, Switzerland, all of those are going to be affected. FTX Turkey. This is just mad. Yeah. Ledger Prime, right? And they actually came out with a statement today as well, which I can show you, saying that they are okay. So that's the other thing to remember. If we think, here's that diagram we were looking at. If we think to ourselves and we say, hold on, logically speaking, most of these companies, Alameda Research invested in. What does that mean? They mean that they gave the company, Alameda Research gave that company money in return for board seats, shares, and possibly that company's token. So let's just talk about Yuga Labs, because we're all familiar with Board API Club and whatever. So let's just say, for example, and this happened, Alameda Research invested in Yuga Labs. What happened was they gave Yuga Labs a certain amount of money, and Yuga Labs in response gave them a small interest in the company. and possibly they would be paid back. So Alameda would be paid back in ApeCoin instead of in US dollar. That's what I would imagine. I don't know that for a fact. So how is that going to affect Bored Ape? If anything, it's actually positive, because now they've got the money already up front because they were venture capitalists. Alameda invested in them and gave them money up front, and now they might not have to repay them so soon, right? So I don't know that it's going to have a huge impact on the companies where Alameda was investing in as a venture partner, because there it's actually, and that's where you might see some money come back, because let's just say with Yuga, and I don't know the terms, Yuga might have said, okay, we will give you your money back in ApeCoin equivalent 3 years down the line or 5 years down the line, which is usually what these type of deals are. So now in 3 years, the bankrupt FTX is going to get in, X billion worth of ApeCoin that they can then use to pay off, the people that are owed. So I think from that side, if Alameda invested in a company and gave them money up front in return for money or shares in the future, that shouldn't have a material impact on that project or that company. Just one thing to say. Just one thing to say there. One caveat to that is that a lot of projects that were given money by Alameda used FTX as their exchange to hold their goods because they trusted them. And what better, my venture partner who just gave me $2 billion represents FTX. I'll keep my money there. And that is potentially where we're going to see the dominoes fall. And that is also where the Solana warriors also coming in, because a lot of the Solana projects, because remember, one of Alameda's investments is Solana and Magic Eden and a lot of Solana based stuff. And that's where we're going to see it come in. So let's pause there, and I want to hear what you feel.
I was just curious on that. That is a very interesting thought of the way that they invested and how they could come back with ApeCoin. But where do you see ApeCoin in about 3 to 5 years?
I mean, that's anyone's guess. Anyone's guess. So that's what I'm saying. It could be that in 3 to 5 years, everyone's come to the point that, look, NFTs were just the tip of the iceberg as far as what the technology can do, and it's worth absolutely nothing. We're all now living where everything's on the blockchain, and we love that. We love that technology, but NFTs are worthless, and ApeCoin could be zero, or it could be known to be one of the OGs. They could have a metaverse where everyone in the world is busy having meetings in, called the other side, and ApeCoin could be as much as Ethereum or Bitcoin. Who knows? But they've got a lot of those investments, and when they made those investments, they expect those companies to have huge value in the future. Otherwise, they wouldn't have invested. However, we now know that it was SBF thinking that, and when I show you some of the coins that he's holding and how much, I cannot believe it. And I'll show you now.
I want to see that. Yeah,
I will. I'll show you. All right, so let's have a look. But I mean, yeah, it's anyone's guess, right? No one can tell you. But there is a chance that some of them are valuable one day, All right, so where are we up to over here? Here's another, this is what, so that was the FTX subsidiaries. This is a website that takes you through all of the investments that they did. And you can see the different coins that they had investments in.
Look how much BNB they have.
108 million. I don't know, because there were some weird transactions that were happening over the last couple of days for huge amounts, where our friend Mr. Fried might have been trying to get as much out as he could, right? But yeah, I mean, here you can see the names. Also, Ethereum, 166 million. Solana, 491 million. Meta, we all know what's happening there, 83 million.
Where's his Dogecoin?
Dogecoin, let's have it. Doesn't show it here.
Was it on the first page or second page?
No, it doesn't show it. Yeah, but look, I don't know that this is a completely exclusive list. I mean, there's 44 pages here, right? Let's see if we can show 100.
I mean, I would assume that it would have more and like just all the random stuff that like
they do. I'll show you. Yeah, I think they're only showing the notable one. While that's loading, let's have a look. I think it was this tweet over here. Okay, so for assets, Alameda on paper had 14 billion of assets against 8 billion of liabilities. So that's a net positive of 6.6 billion. But for that 6.6 billion, 3.6 billion was FTT token, which is now dropped to $2 or something. So, and it's probably going to go to zero. So you could pretty much write off 3.6 billion. So they're left with 3 billion, of which 2.1 billion of that 3 billion is FTT collateral, which you can also write off, right? And then they've got 292 million in Solana and 863 million in that locked SOL, which is what you were speaking about, Andres, that you said was due to be unlocked soon and then was paused and not paused and so on.
I wonder. I mean, if they unlock that, man, SOL really has the shot of going to zero.
Yeah, and that's why I think they not for now.
Because if they do that, man, that's like, I can't even imagine what that would do. Like, it's a SOL's already tanked in itself, and then I mean, I don't even know what life we would have left in it.
That's a billion, over a billion of SOL, which I don't know what the market cap is right now, but represents, as we said earlier, around 10%. At different times, it's been as high as 15% of the total supply. And anyone who knows anything knows if you dump 15% of the total supply, you can do exactly that, right, Andres? You can take it to zero.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna. Well, dude, you know what? I don't even know, because it's like, what they're gonna do is they'll just they'll find a way. I think, in my personal opinion, I think they'll end up releasing that, because at some point they can't just hold on to that forever, and then they'll just end up releasing that, pull out, and then honestly the little guy's gonna lose, as it usually happens, because what are they gonna do? Just hold on to that and then keep it locked up for like how long? I mean, I'm very interested, because SOL is one of those ones that it's like, why is it? How is this one failing as well? It's like, you had Google promoting it. They were focused on their shoes. They were focused on creating the phone. It's like, I feel like more importantly is like focus on the network and making sure that, hey, why, instead of focusing on all this other stuff and stretching yourself thin, why not pay attention to make sure you get the groundwork done? Because SOL, as you know, is always crashing. And it's like, take care of that before moving on to the bigger things. So, I mean, it still has life, in my personal opinion, just because of the names that are behind it. But at this point, everything's a free game.
For sure. So I think let's jump into it, because that's exactly where we're at. And this is the big question, right?
Ooh.
Are Solana NFTs dead? Is the Solana blockchain dead as a result of this? What's happened? We've had a really interesting journey with Solana. Magic Eden and Solana have really been doing some incredible things in the last year. If you look at their marketplaces now, the way that it allows for multiple different chains, which wasn't possible, and they were first to do that before OpenSea. The way that they have their launchpad, which has been incredibly successful for projects, and they were the first to do that before OpenSea, and just the analytics that they've got on Magic Eden, which have been there from the beginning and are completely normal. The customer support on Magic Eden, they've got a live chat. I'm still waiting for OpenSea to come back to me from 3 weeks ago for something that's quite urgent, and I haven't heard from them. When I needed something on Magic Eden, there was a guy right there talking me through it. Absolutely incredible. We know the Solana phone.
Nice.
Yeah, that is nice. The Solana phone itself, it's just great to see people, the first, Web3 phone. They've got Solana brick and mortar stores, physical stores that you can visit in shopping centers. So I've been so proud and happy with Solana. They've made a couple since that. And I don't buy much on Solana, but I've still been watching them and saying, doing some amazing things. Then we saw them really put their foot in it with the royalties a couple of weeks ago, the way they were handling royalties, and we saw a bit of a dip. And then we've seen them sort of, doing okay. We had the whole DGods thing with Frank saying that he's moving to Ethereum, and so the last week or two before the FTX thing, or maybe the last month, has been really tough for Magic Eden after maybe a good 10 or 11 months of really positive news and positive things coming out. So now we have this Alameda thing coming, and it is scary because, as we've said, they do hold Alameda, which is owned by FTX, and both now being put into liquidation or declared bankrupt, do hold at least 10% of the supply. I think what's good Andreas, and tell me what you think. Well, I think what's good at this point is that the fact that Sam Bankman-Fried has resigned from all these companies means he can't touch whatever is there now. So if there's still $1 billion in Sol, no one that's not going onto the market for at least a couple of years while the lawyers investigate what's going on here and what's happened. So that takes away that risk of, is Sam gonna dump? He can't dump those records at this point.
Here's a side question for you. What if, because Frank proposed it, I know he was kind of joking, kind of open about it. They're thinking about moving DeGods to Ethereum. Did you see that?
I saw that.
So
I saw that.
That would even hurt Solana even more, because I feel like DeGods and the Utes, that's like Solana's project. No, it's like its baby, it's its golden child, I guess I would put it as.
Yeah. But he did, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this week he did come out and say that he's not going to be doing that.
He did, but he also said, but the discussion's still open. So it was like one of those, it was like he just kind of threw it out there. He was like, hey, I wonder what people are going to say to this. And then he got an incredible amount of feedback, not the greatest type of feedback. And then he was like, oh, I apologize. I don't realize sometimes how far my words go.
The power of my words, yes.
Exactly. But I think he closed off that statement with, but the discussion's still open, or this isn't closed. So it made me wonder.
God, why say that? Why? Exactly. You sort it all out and then you're like, but it's still open. I mean, that's not great.
Because it still may be a good idea, like, to be quite frank, as an NFT project, to go to Ethereum for the long run.
I don't know so much.
I mean, think about it. What if Solana does crash? Like, I think he's looking at it like, oh, what if Solana does crash? Then my project's completely done. Completely.
At that stage, there are ways to move it from one blockchain to another at that stage. The problem with him doing it at this point is you isolate your core, which is the Solana community. So if you the top Solana project and therefore your supporters, your customers are Solana maxis, and you then offend all of them, you're in trouble. Because the project didn't work because people like the picture of DeGods or the Utes or what he's done, even though a lot of it was completely out of the box and amazing, and he is good in certain ways. It was at the right place at the right time. Solana was ready for it when it came, and by luck, I mean, even the Bored Ape Yacht Club founders said on the podcast the other day that they said they were just lucky that they did what they did at the time that they did it. They said if they launched a project now that is exactly the same, it would never ever have done well. So he's losing that. As an Ethereum, I'm an Ethereum trader. That's what I am. I've once bought one Solana NFT. It was an okay bear. I got scared about a week or two ago, and I sold it and converted the Solana out, which I'm happy I did. But from an Ethereum side, if the top Sol project came onto ETH, I'm not that interested. I've already got my top ETH projects that I'm.
Oh, really? You wouldn't be interested?
No,
really?
We saw it with that project about 6 months ago. That launched their secondary collection on Ethereum. They were a Solana project.
I'm not even sure.
They were Solana project. Yeah, they were Solana project. They still are a Solana project. They launched their secondary collection on ETH, and it did quite well for a while. Sold out, did quite well, and slowly been bleeding since then. They share the same Discord, the Solana and the Ethereum one. So he's got his secondary collection on ETH.
Would you know what the art looks like or anything? I'm just not familiar.
Cade and I spoke about it on the show. It was a long time ago. But yeah, I mean, I even flipped a couple. I bought some like a few weeks after mint and sold a couple. But yeah, so that side has been done. I think that the chain doesn't really matter. It's the community and it's what you've built.
I feel like the community is crazy for DeGods and Utes. That's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, but I feel like it. As a business, let's just if Sol does crash like hard to the point where it doesn't exist, that means it takes down Utes and it takes down DeGods with it.
Yeah.
So then it may be. I mean, I feel like Ethereum has more of a promising future, especially right now more than ever, than Solana. Like, what's it called? There's all these other chains. Like, I know Cade, he loves Elrond. You know, like he's all about like trying new chains and finding out new communities, this, that, and the other. But these communities will not outlast the like without an actual blockchain or the cryptocurrency working. You know, like if Sol goes to zero tomorrow, what's a UTE going to be worth? What's a G going to be worth?
Sol's not going to zero tomorrow. Sometimes you gotta be loyal. Sometimes, like, you gotta, in business in general, right? In my humble opinion, I only know my own experience, but sometimes you got to be loyal to the end. So there have been times in my business career where a supplier has, stepped wrong, and the whole industry has shunned that supplier, or most of the industry. And at times, I've known the owner of that company very well, and I understand his perspective, and I've stood by him. And at times it's held me in good stead, because I think to move on a whim, to be known as the guy that, I think Solana's going to zero, then he moves it all to Ethereum. What happens when Ethereum projects are looking like, hell, and OpenSea's the only marketplace that's now allowing royalties in 10 years' time, and everyone's saying ETH projects, is he going to move it now to Aptos? It's not the way to do it. At some point, you've got to be committed to where you're at and say, I ride or die. I'm here. This is my lane.
Yeah,
serious, because that way you
gain.
Solana.
You're right. You're right. Yeah. They chose to be on Solana. They could have launched this immediately on ETH.
And they're doing incredibly well on Solana. I'm saying, as a project, they're doing well on Solana. They've raised a fortune of capital. They're holding a good floor price, considering that all NFTs are down. I mean, Bored Apes was sitting at 50 Ethereum. They were at 190, so they're down a quarter. So yes, DeGods is down a quarter of its high. Yes, all of them are down. Everything's down. It's not going to zero. Solana's not going to zero. So let's talk about why. Because it was a serious question. Is Solana going to zero? So we've got all this FUD and all this talk now, and it's I don't like the word FUD, because that makes it seem like they don't have a point. They do have a point, and they right to question it.
I like that point. I feel like sometimes FUD is so it's such a loose term in the space.
Yeah, it's like if Sam said in a tweet, "Guys, stop fudding me." Now then, everyone's giving him shit. Were we not? Yeah. You're a criminal. You stole our money.
But at the same time, it's like FUD is like it's. I feel like it's misused. Like the word rug. Like FUD is just like, I don't know. With FUD, it's just like, sometimes if Philip just has an opinion and he puts it out there, and it's just a more different approach, it's just considered as FUD, and it's just like, that's not FUD, that's just my opinion, or it may be a negative, like it's like, oh, is Solana gonna die? It's like, oh, stop FUDding Solana. Like, no, it's just a question.
No. Yeah, exactly. Or you see a lot of projects before mint, you go in and like you say, like, especially me, I get a lot of whitelist. I don't know what's going on with any other projects. I just want to flip them. I don't. In the beginning, I had time to spend time in Discords, and I love communities. I just don't have time. So I go in 2 minutes before the mint, and they don't say in the announcements or mint information what the collection size is, what the mint price is. So like I say, what is the collection size? Oh, 15,000. So I say, really? Stop FUDding. No. I thought maybe you mistyped. I thought maybe it's 1,500. I'm not FUDding you. I'm literally asking, and to be honest, you should be listening to guys, not like me. I'm just saying guys who care enough to say, hold on, 15,000 seems a bit high. I mean, I know we can't do anything 2 minutes before, so I would never say anything. But I'm just saying, if a guy a week before that had said, guys, 15,000 is too high, stop FUDding, get out and block him. No. You know that's not FUD. So I agree. So I shouldn't have used the word FUD at all.
Oh no, I wasn't saying it for you.
I know, but it's an interesting discussion. I agree 100%. Okay, so people are asking now. Obviously, FTX has gone to zero. They on early investor in Solana as well as Magic Eden, and they hold at least or around about 10% of the Solana token, right? If we come to here, we see another article. So they're holding, this one says $800 million. The other one said
that's the article I read.
Yeah, said to be unstaked. So this was updated on the 10th of November, published on the 9th. So let's just see if there was any. Solana validators who provide security to the blockchain are set to unlock nearly 800 million as the end of its epic approaches in fewer than 13 hours. I know that this never occurred. when it came to
agree with
closer
the
to the
note.
13 hours. So let's just see if they've said anything additional here. Yeah, and I mean, we're seeing Solana went as low as 12 and is now sitting at about 16. No, the update, there isn't an update over there, but I don't think that that happened. All right, so I don't think Solana is going to zero, and my answer is there are so many builders on Solana that are doing incredible things. You've got Magic Eden who is doing incredible things, and I don't believe that this road bump is going to derail them completely. It is a road bump for them, for sure. And as I said earlier, my concern is that potentially projects that minted on Magic Eden saw that FTX was a partner and had their funds there. And I do think we're going to start to see projects fall. But we saw the same thing when it came to people not converting their crypto into USD, and then all crypto fell. So this is normal, natural selection. Let the guys who weren't, and I feel bad for anyone, especially the FTX, because they haven't done anything wrong. People who had their money on FTX, yes, I agree with you, ideally should be on a ledger, but you also need some funds to trade. Everyone thought it was safe up until a few days ago. Everyone.
Everybody did.
So,
100%.
People who weren't fast enough are going to be hit, but I do not think that Solana is done. I agree 100%, Crypto Dream. 100%. Andres, you're doing great.
Crypto Dream, you are doing great, man.
All right, so Crypto Dream, I know you've been waiting for this, my friend. This is the Q&A that we asked you guys to ask. So let's share the screen again. Let's get
I'm super
Mr.
stoked.
Dream.
You got me thinking. I'm super stoked for that. What's it called? The 10 Ethereum. What we're gonna get on OpenSea.
Yeah, man. Let's have a look. So this is it. We said here, I said here, and Cade also asked, drop any questions that you might have for Cade and Philip. We're adding a new segment to the show where we're going to answer your questions live on the show. So I'm really excited for this. We're going to be continuing to do it every week. So if you missed this one and you want to ask, I'll put a new tweet out in the next day or two asking you to ask again. But we had over here, the first guy to respond was NFT Nate. So he said, build the best 10 Ethereum 3 NFT collection. So let's have a look here. All right, so that's what we're doing. I want you to go first.
All right, go to Artifact. Let's see where they're at right now.
All right, so let's jump onto OpenSea. All right, so you're thinking Clone X, eh?
Yeah, I definitely want to see what they're at.
I think they're about 6.5. That's what my guess is.
Really?
I'll keep, yeah. Okay, offer, so 7.5.
Okay, so what are we doing? Are we doing best offer? Are we doing? Let's just do.
I think the fair thing to do is between the two. So let's call it a 7 ETH.
Okay.
It would be 7 ETH of your budget if you had to do it.
I'm taking one. That's mine for sure, and I'll tell you exactly why. Because
let's hear it.
I'm at 7 ETH right now. I got 3 ETH to spend. My biggest bag is definitely going to go into Nike. Artifact's been doing this stuff for the last 2-3 years now, honestly, before they got acquired by Nike. Nike has athletes. People don't buy products. They buy the people that are behind the products and who is going to be representing them. So what I'm getting at is you're going to have people like LeBron James talking about Clone X. You already have OBJ talking about Clone X. And I saw this tweet the other day and I was like, fuck, like, this is a much bigger play than it is, because it's not like people don't buy Nike because it's Nike. They buy Nike because of LeBron James and him representing the company and his brand. Because when they buy it, they want to feel like their greatness, like they're up there with him because he has that. And with that said, a lot of athletes are going to start talking about NFTs, and what they're going to represent is the Nike athletes are going to represent these NFTs, and they're going to keep posting and posting. Their community is going to grow and grow. Why? Because people look up to those people. And then at the end of the day, it's Nike, and they're already crushing it right now. I think Artifact, in my personal opinion, is the best project out there right now. Like obviously you have Bored Apes, you have the punks, you know.
I agree with you completely. I
But
agree with you. I agree with you completely.
yeah,
I've been
big fan.
telling Cade for God knows how long. Knock. They fucking knock. And
Yeah.
never mind that, it's not a Web2 big brand coming into Web3 anymore. They've proven that they're Web3 pedigree. They
Yeah.
did a flawless drop. They've airdropped 2 Cypher properties. They were the first to do it. World of Woman copied them a year after them. They've also successfully linked physical products that people want, not
Mhm.
freaking merch, but Nike products that people want with their NFTs. So they've got an income stream that they do not have to continue dropping secondary collections and diluting like everyone else. They can sell products and keep the project running from that perspective. I
Mhm.
am super bullish on Clone X. I agree with you 100%, and that's actually what I would have chosen as well. So
Yeah.
that's brilliant, and I
Do
love
you
that.
have
I'm going to
one?
ask you.
I see back there. I just saw it. Do you have a Clone X?
Yeah, so I don't have that particular one, but I've got a very similar one to him. I'll show them to you guys. I actually picked him up this week. Sadly, this guy in the corner was stolen from my wallet. So I was
Wait, what?
minting. I do a lot of whitelist, and I'm always careful. It's the first time it's happened to me. The only reason it was in my hot wallet was I was considering selling it for a different one. So it was in my hot wallet, and I was on announcements on the page, and a link came. I clicked it, and it ended up being a bad link. And I
Jeez.
lost. First of all, it drained my ETH, my actual ETH. So first, my money went from what I had to zero. Now the problem with that is I couldn't move my NFTs because I didn't
Yeah,
have
because you had
gas.
no ETH.
Yeah. So I had to quickly try get. I knew what was coming. It was so horrible, bro. I had to quickly try get ETH over there. I moved it from one to the other, and by the time it came in, my clone was gone, and my CP pop. Consumer whatever
Yeah, I
products
remember that.
which
The
I
product.
loved,
Yeah.
was also gone. And yeah, I mean, look, I've been trading heavily for 18 months, and I've never ever had it happen. And literally, as that link came, it was deleted, and their proper announcement came, and they got someone. I don't know. I reached out to the project. That's what I said 3 weeks ago. I'm still
What?
waiting for fucking OpenSea to blacklist it for me. I've sent emails. I've filled out the
Mhm.
form on their website. It's been sold already by the guy, and I'm pissed off. And I've been trying to
Yeah.
get hold of them for 3 weeks. Whereas Magic Eden, I didn't have a hack, but Magic Eden, when I was just trying to buy an NFT, my first NFT, that OK Bear, they walked me through it with a person. So yeah, I haven't told this live on air because I've been
Oh,
embarrassed.
fuck, man, that
I've been
hurts.
embarrassed about it.
No, I
Yeah.
mean, don't be embarrassed. I mean, it happens. You know, there's nothing you can do about it. I think if anything, you sharing your story is allow other people to understand like how like the severity of like how fast it can happen and like how innocent and quick how quickly it can happen. Like I'm always terrified. That's why I like keeping my stuff on a cold wallet. Like I have a few.
Yeah.
Not only that, I have a few wallets and I keep them on cold wallets. And it's just like no, I'm not.
So you'll actually see if you watch the show from about 4 weeks ago or 5 weeks ago, Clone X released that video teaser of that
Mhm.
big guy following, and they were started mooning. And I said to Kate, I'm quickly moving on the show. I'm moving my clone because I want to sell it at 11, 12 ETH,
Oh,
and then
wait,
I'll
this
buy
happened
back
like
when it
3 weeks ago.
retraces. About a month ago when that's when I moved it. So since then I've had it in there listed at about 11 ETH because I thought if someone buys it, I'm happy to wait for the floor to go to 7, which it
Mhm.
is now, which I knew it would. And I never particularly loved the look of him. So I was looking to change him. So I moved it after that show into my hot wallet. And because it was listed, because in my cold wallet, I don't list at all.
Mhm.
I don't want it to interact with anything. It is
Right.
completely cold. So when I intend on selling an NFT, I move it. So now what I've done is I've made a third account for that. Obviously, the old account, I spent so much in gas. I had hundreds of NFTs. I
Yeah.
spent so much in gas just moving all of them out. I mean, it was a nightmare. I hated it. It was so terrible. Really,
Wow.
really horrible.
Wow. That
And I'm the most cautious guy, Andreas. I tell everyone to be careful. And I mean, and I was in announcements on a project, in announcements. Wait, it was mint time, and it came, and I was the first because I wanted to mint and sell that bitch.
Right.
Oh my god,
Here's a
horrible.
question. What have you
Yeah.
what have you learned from that? Do you now have a burner wallet?
Yeah, so you know what the hard thing at this point is? I'm in between because a lot of my wins of whitelist are on my old compromised wallet, and you can't really check. So every time now I've got a whitelist that I win, I have to check which wallet, and I've created a completely new one which has got barely any ETH, and anytime anything of value gets in, it gets out.
Right.
But even so, it's hard to operate that way because especially if
100%.
you're minting 10 projects a day, and I don't know which wallet's won it and what hasn't, and I'm moving ETH from one to the other to mint and then moving it to sell it, and it's a pain in the ass, man.
How would you describe your strategy for like, are you just like, do you watch the charts or do you literally just get a bunch of whitelists? Is that your goal?
Yeah, so I used to. I mean, the whitelist meta used to be a thing. These days, it's not. So I'm not really chasing whitelist that much anymore. But I hold a pre-mint pass, so I just click enter on like 30 projects a day.
Okay.
Super full. That website's super full. I just click enter. I also have a mutant, so I've got Elf Ape List, which is like a little elf where they get 10, 15 opportunities that I just enter every day. So I just pretty much go into AlphaBot, ApeList, a few websites, click enter all, and then I just get a calendar that show. I mean, I can show you. I mean,
That's smart. Yeah.
may as
No,
well
I mean,
just.
yeah. And I mean, would you say like, what's your trading strategy? Just watching the floor, or do you
Oh
go
no!
in
So
there?
watching how many mint before I mint, making sure that the floor is at least sort of double, depending. Let's just say it's a 0.05, right? So a cheapish mint. I'm not even going to touch it unless the floor is 0.09, because by the time I get it, the floor is going to be 0.08, and by the time I pay gas and whatever, I'm not really going to risk 0.05 to potentially make 0.01.
Right.
So I want the floor to be at least double on a low value mint. If it's a half a ETH mint and the floor is 0.7, no problem, right? I'm happy to make 0.15. But if it's a small one, I just want to make sure that at least I 2x. And then I want to make sure that the secondary volume is there. So I'm watching that there's a lot of sales. Obviously not just one or two sales. Is it the same wallet buying? So is it their team? Are they just going to stop at some stage? Another thing is often projects are making the mistake. What they'll do is they're doing their whitelist at 0.05, let's just say, and their public at 0.1. So that means that if their whitelist doesn't sell out, I know if I list at 0.09, they're going to buy it off the floor because they're going to public and they don't want to be under. So sometimes I'll wait for the end of a mint. I think we've killed Andreas. Have a drink.
Yeah. What you drinking over there?
It's my Licol, sugar-free Licol.
What's Licol?
So it's water, and then you like a cordial that you mix with it that makes it taste like juice.
Nice.
Yeah, so make sure the secondary volume's there, but there's different strategies. I don't these days. I'm very selective, but it's pretty easy. So pre-mint is quite cool. Here's all the projects that I've registered for. I go to calendar. Here's all the projects that I've won on different days. And then here's all the I mean, this is just pre-mint, hey?
Wow, there's a lot.
Chrome is frozen. I'm surprised that the stream is still going. That's hilarious. You can
What's going on?
still hear me, right?
Yeah, but now something happened on your end.
Yeah, it uses a lot of resources. Let's just close this.
Oh no, you're good. I can hear you good.
All right, we're good again. All right, so Andres, let's get back to our challenge. You've got a Clone X and you left with 3 Ethereum, my friend. So what you doing next?
Let's go to the trending page real quick.
Okay.
Or all time. Yeah, just top, not trending. Let's see. How's KPR? KPR is 0.39. Let's see. Let's see.
So that one I had whitelist for. I minted at 0.2 and I sold at 0.6 KPR. That was a good one. One of the few good ones.
KPR was great. Go ahead, scroll down a little bit more.
I'm just going to change it to Ethereum only. Just hold on.
Smart man.
Yeah. Otherwise, we're seeing a whole lot of. All right. So yeah, what we're seeing here.
I'm not seeing anything. I would keep going. Oh, you know what? I would pick up one. Hold on. Maybe another
Up.
side. It's under. It's under a. It's under an E.
Yeah,
I wouldn't mind
it's
picking up.
under an ETH.
I still don't know what they're doing with their other side. You know.
Yeah, they're busy, but I mean, I think you can safely say that it's going to be a couple of years
I,
before there's a workable. There's going to be another demo, and I think in January they said, which will help it go up a
in
bit.
January? Oh, I would totally wait. What was the question from Nate? Do you remember? Was it like forever?
So that's a really interesting thing, Andrea. So that's how I was going to start my answer, is that it really, exactly what you're saying. It depends on whether you want to buy for the short-term flip or for the long-term hold. That's exactly my point. I'm assuming that it's for the long-term hold. So
okay.
so
No, I
let's
wouldn't buy.
you do the same.
I wouldn't buy this. Let's go back.
So just to go through the thinking here, I mean, my thinking on other deed, it definitely is in on my radar for this challenge that Nate's given us. My concern is the supply. Is 100,000 is a massive supply.
It's 200,000.
Well, I don't know if they're doing that anymore. There's been that was supposed to happen in September, and there's been rumors that they may scrap that altogether.
What? So like, what? How does that? So what are we gonna get? Like half a world? You know, like what is that about? Like half
No,
and half?
nothing. You gotta get
That's like
nothing.
playing Fortnite with only half the screen.
Yeah, because originally they said there's going to be another 200,000. Then they said, but the second 100,000 are going to be for holders of the first 100,000, and now they're saying potentially that's not going to happen at all. But by partaking in the demos, you can level up your land and be eligible for other things. I don't know what's happening there, but it is. Listen, for one Ethereum, to be really honest, the good things is as follows: you got very little chance of this project going to zero. Very little. Like, I mean, zero.
This project minted. The gas fees were about Ethereum.
Were 2. No, the gas was more. Yeah, the gas was 2. And the mint, depending on when you bought your ape, was anywhere from about 1.5 ETH to 3 ETH, depending on when you bought your ape token. But it's not going to zero. They are real builders in the space, as we know.
I had buddies actually sell a coda for 150 ETH.
Incredible.
I
mean, the thing to look at here is always keep an eye. Is there any like good land? I want to see here if we can get.
Speaking of the land, I'm just not sold on it. Like it's like unless it's a game and it's like they have it all developed out, it still doesn't mean that it's gonna be good. It's like okay, you'll be able to play with your Bored Ape in the game or whatever, but I'm just not understanding it, and that's okay. I don't think it's huge. I think like it's good to question things like this because I think a lot of other people have the same questions. But like, what the hell is it gonna? So what is this gonna do for us? Like, what's so great about this land? Like, why do I want this land? I still don't understand their big plan, and I think that's fine. But at the same time, I'm like, okay, so this land and they've run those tests, you know, where they have what is it like a lot. Do you remember how many people were on those tests?
I think it was 3,000 the first test, and the second test I think was 10,000 if I'm not mistaken.
So 10,000 people were playing on a game. Like I understand the concept of it. Like usually servers crash and they can't do that, but technology is going to advance at a much more rapid pace. And if someone like Yuga Labs or people at Yuga Labs are doing this, I'm sure that people at Sony and people at Xbox or Microsoft, people at Microsoft and Sony, they're doing this already. Like they're already working on this. So I feel like that technology that they came out with is great, but at some point, PS4 is going to have the exact same thing, and so will Xbox or PS5.
Yeah, look, I think their side is not just a game; it's a metaverse, and I don't even know that a game is part of it. I think they want it to be a world where people from holders of their NFTs to non-holders of their NFTs can enjoy being. So that's their grand. Huh?
Like a Roblox metaverse, like just
Sort
hanging
of,
out.
yeah. Yeah, but they will have activities there and stuff for people who want to. Other guys can just chill in their mansion on their Bored Ape land and invite friends over. Or there's going to be a lot of different things going on in a lot of different places. I think we're a far way out, which is why I don't know that it's worth holding on long term, because I think you'll have many opportunities to buy it. So to have your money tied up in it while they develop for 4 years, on the whim that in 4 years, will it even be something that people want to do? I don't know. But the good stuff about it is one of the biggest players in the space. They know Web3 and community better than anyone, and they're putting a huge amount of resources behind it, and they are solely focused on making it amazing. So if they pull it off, it will be incredible.
I
But
just
there
want to
is the
figure out
risk
what
that
it
they
really
don't.
is. Like, I understand it was like hanging out, but will you use the metaverse? Like, do you see yourself immersing yourself and just going to hang out in this land? Like, why aren't you doing that currently with Roblox is my question.
Well, I'm doing it with you at the moment. Like, we're in the metaverse to a certain degree. We together. And we've also got a few other people with us. We can't see them in this particular setting. Would be amazing if we could. And if we could, yes. If you and I could be sitting like this in a virtual room next to each other, like a podcast type style, with everyone who's watching us sitting on the couch opposite us like a talk show, that
That'd be
sounds
cool.
pretty cool to me. Yeah.
Yeah, my
So,
buddy
I
created some
mean,
technology like that.
that sounds pretty cool. I'm just saying, like, when it gets to the point, I think what's really important is the metaverse is only successful if there's a lot of people there. So we've
Right.
seen with with the Centraland and Sandbox. At the moment, there's not that many people there. It's not fun. So it's hard to know what it will be like when everyone is there, sort of like the internet or TikTok now or whatever it was, Facebook in my day. Everyone was there, literally online. You could send a message, send them a picture. It was incredible. But I do think that we're going to there to some degree. I don't think that when I'm working all day on things that I'm going to be sitting in a virtual world when I'm by myself working. But I do think if my favorite singer in America is having a concert that I wouldn't be able to go to, and I hear that it's in the metaverse where I can experience it to some degree, I would do that. But would I choose to go to the metaverse instead of in real life if it was both in South Africa, in Johannesburg? No, I'd rather be in a stadium and have that feeling or whatever. But there's value to it. There's definitely value to it, right?
Of course, 100%. But my thing is, like, I 100% agree. It's just, when are people actually going to start using these things? Like, the only one that's actually being used is Roblox, and that's not even. It's never been planned to be a metaverse. It was just like a place to hang out. Like,
you got what's the other one? Fortnite.
Decentraland.
Is Fortnite a game or a metaverse?
That's a game. Well, I mean, if we're talking like the way that you're currently referring to metaverses, because I agree. But yeah, I mean, everything's a metaverse. Like, when we're on our phones, we are. This is a metaverse. Like, it's just it's the evolution of it. But it's just like, I don't know. I just find it very interesting, and I just want to figure out what people really are expecting from these metaverses. Like, what's stopping them from doing it currently? Like Twitter, even Twitter
People
Spaces.
aren't ready. It's too early. People aren't ready for it yet, but they will be. And there might be an event like what we saw with Zoom. There was Skype for God knows how long. You could do Microsoft Teams. No one used Zoom. No one used anything. We then had a worldwide event, COVID. All of a sudden, everyone got exposed to it. And everyone's like, wow, this is incredible. I don't need to drive for 2 hours or go on the bus to meet a client. I can do it on Zoom. And now, where people in countries where people aren't worried about COVID, they're still doing their Zoom meetings. So if COVID had happened 5 years later, when we already had developed the technology where there were cool metaverses and things, maybe that would happen immediately.
That would have been crazy.
And then you'll get a business. Yeah, you'll get a business metaverse where you just do meetings, and you'll get, like, Google will be a metaverse. Your search will be, just thinking to yourself, sneakers, and all of a sudden to your left and to your right, or that's the future. But it's just we early.
That would be crazy.
So we got Dickensis here, who I haven't seen for so long. It's so good to see you. Is it time to buy blue chips? Look, not financial advice, and I know frickin' nothing. All I can say is that seeing, just as a barometer, I'm not saying buy a Bored Ape, but seeing Bored Apes at 50 Ethereum when ETH was $1,100 2 days ago or a day and a half ago. For me, if I had that money sitting in ETH waiting to buy, that would have been a buy opportunity for sure. And straight away we've seen it. ETH is now 1,260 when I started the stream, and the floor was already 65 on the Bored Apes. So you could have straight away made 20 Ethereum just as a flip if you were sitting there ready to take advantage of that, right? So for me, 2 days ago was the absolute bottom. We now still pretty much, not pretty much at the bottom, we'll still go low, but we're close to there. But the problem is that even with all this crypto stuff that's gone shit, we still have the macro that's shit. And the macro is going to be shit for a long time. And the housing numbers are going to come out next year. And they are going to be so bad that I think you're going to have a lot of opportunities to buy some good blue chips. That's my truth. So if you've been watching something for a long time, you know the floor movement and you see it at a low and you're happy to sit on it for 6 months to 2 years because you want to be a part on it, go ahead. You find the coolest one that you've been watching on the floor, yeah, go for it. But not for a short-term flip. I wouldn't be trying to trade in this market too much. It's too risky. It could go either way.
What would you do with your other 3 Ethereum, speaking of?
Okay, hold on. All right, let's get
I'm
back
very
to
curious
it.
about this.
Okay, a couple of things I would be looking at. So my question, I just want to see where mutants are, because when I was thinking of it properly, mutants were 14, so I couldn't even think of them. If mutants were under 10, okay, so they're out of it. They're 11. So what else? I would want something. I agree with you on the Clone X. I really do. So let's say we together have 3 Ethereum. The next ecosystem there's 2 other ecosystems I would want to be invested in, if possible, to some degree. The one is Yuga to some degree, and we're going to look at that. The other is actually VFriends, because again, I'm thinking long term. I'm not thinking short term. And long term, those are the 3 ecosystems at this particular point that I have the most faith in. So let's start with Yuga. Mutants and Bored Apes and punks are all way out of our budget. They're not options. So what are options over here? We got the Kennel Club and Meebits and other deed, which we've spoken about. So let's say we might have to do another deed because we don't have enough for kennels. I know that. And I don't want to. Okay, so Kennel Club.
I wouldn't even want to buy one, to be honest with you. Would you want
a kennel? They're ugly, but you know what? On their roadmap, the next thing is Mecha Dogs is coming out, and that will pump them that you can easily make two ETH on these at this price. And the other thing is that I think they're still on 0% royalties, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, creator free is still 0% on the dogs, which means you don't have to factor in that 5% creator fee. So they do become attractive from a flipper perspective, especially that we know Mecha Dogs is coming. But again, we've decided we're doing this long term, right? This particular challenge.
I think you hit it on the nail. I probably use the rest of my money and just load up on VFriends Series 2. That's 0.31 right now.
Yeah, so Series 2 would be our only option because we've gone with Clone X, but we could potentially get a Meebit and 2 Series 2s. And then we've got exposure to all 3 ecosystems. We sort of hedged our bets because the interesting thing with Meebits, they were actually sitting at 2 point. There were offers that were accepted at 2.2, 2.3 that I was watching and sort of on the sidelines considering, because we've seen them as high as 6 ETH in the last couple of months. Here was 2.5 2 days ago, 2.7, 2.5. So they were going at, like a lot of them, going at 2.5 Ethereum. They now already, and everything sort of bounced back a little bit, not to where they were. They're already 2.8. But Meebits is interesting to me. I also don't like the look of them. But the nice thing about them, and after this, Andres, I want to hear what you think of this. The nice thing about Meebits, you get exposure to the CryptoPunk ecosystem, which is an awesome ecosystem for the simple reason that there's very little risk there because they're not doing anything with it. They're just preserving CryptoPunks as the historical item that they are. So you don't have to worry about a bad drop. You don't have to worry about dilution. They're not going to be doing secondary collections on top of this. And this allows you to have a long-term hold that is from the biggest project in the space, the most historical project in the space, CryptoPunks. And we know that they just recently launched a whole website for Meebits where they've said that this is just season 1.1 and hinted at 1.2 to 1.8 coming out. So there is stuff coming, not going to be other drops or anything, but cool utility under CryptoPunks ecosystem, which gives you exposure to Yuga Labs. I potentially might be wanting to get a Meebits and then 1 or 2 VFriend series.
That's smart.
What do you
agree.
think?
No, I think that's safe. What? Yeah, it's too much. I was thinking how much Cool Cat or Doodles.
The problem with I wish VFriend Series 1 was like affordable in our little game, because I really do want a Genesis long term. I think Gary V is not going to frickin' stop until he owns the Jets, and part of that is taking VFriends to the moon. And that guy's shown time and time again that he can do it. Really, I mean, the fact that he got into all these Toys R Us stores and just everything he's been doing. The cards are phenomenal. I've got 2 here, 2 boxes of them. They are so cool. He's really building something special.
Have you opened them?
No, because I'm a collector.
Oh, nice.
So
it looks like from your setting in your room, it looks like you're a natural collector.
Yeah, I mean, and this is really just a drop in the ocean here, Andres. I've got like massive in real life collections. Boom, boom.
Check this out. I feel like you'd like this then.
What you got? I'm gonna have to make you big. Hold on. And the other VFriends box is not even, the brown box isn't even open from the post. Let's just make you big. Whoa, what we got there? Who's he?
It's a Flexin' Fox. VFriends.
From VFriend. Where did you get that? From the toy store?
No. This is super rare. It's what's it called? It was an exclusive drop when I met Gary B out here in LA.
That is really cool. You know what I'm waiting for? Super Plastic did the drop of those Bored Ape figurines.
Oh, really?
And I still haven't and I bought. And I still haven't received it.
Really? That sucks.
Yeah.
What's the ETA on that?
I don't know. They always said end of this year. I'll show you something really, really cool. This is a collector Hot Wheels in the box.
Yeah.
So there's a Hot Wheels car, and it's a replication of the first Superman comic.
That's really cool.
Hot Wheels and Superman, both Hot Wheels turned 50 and Superman turned 80. Superman turned 80 years and Hot Wheels turned 50. So they did this collab, and this image is an exact replica of the first comic book, and the car that was on the first comic book cover they did as a Hot Wheel.
What's that going for on eBay?
I've got no idea, but I had someone pick this up from a fair in America for me.
Really?
Yeah, they're really rare. You can't get these.
Have you ever looked it up, like to see what it's worth?
No, look it up.
Let's see. Action Comics. What was it?
Number 1. Action Comics number 1. Superman's first appearance and Action Sedan first appearance. But I think if you just say Action Comics number 1 Hot Wheel, it will tell you. Have you ever collected Hot Wheels?
No, I never collect. Now that I think about it, man, I really never collected anything in my life. I'm trying to see. Let's see. eBay.
So you get big Hot Wheels also. Do you know that?
What do you mean big Hot Wheels?
Okay, so you get small Hot Wheels, the normal size that you are used to seeing in toy shops.
Yeah.
So for example, this is a normal sized Hot Wheel over here in packaging.
Correct. Yeah.
Then you get one size above that. So this is Scooby-Doo's van.
Well, that's really cool. You have that.
But it's bigger. Than a normal Hot Wheel. And then you get the big ones. I'm going to go get you an address. You're going to have to talk to the audience.
That's crazy. I didn't even know that they existed, that they were that large.
have to switch on the light here.
What's going on, everybody? How's everybody doing? Is everybody having a great day? I'm having a great day living the Brett way. Let's see. 1:09 p.m. Zach XBT, an interesting wallet on Solana. They withdrew $70 million USDC from FTX to OKX in final hours before withdrawals closed. There was a big wallet in Solana. You follow? Whoa, that's huge. That's solid, man.
Yeah, that's from the 18. This is big, bro.
That's
and this
huge.
is a proper Hot Wheels. You should have a stamp somewhere. Yeah, there.
That's a Hot Wheel, big Hot Wheel collector. Do you have like a whole like? Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, I've got lots of these big ones.
Hell yeah.
This is from the 18. This is the 18 van. So
That's
just
really
to put it
cool.
in perspective,
I've always wanted to get one of those vans and gut it out and like live in it. It sounds like a cool idea.
This is a normal size one, just to put it in perspective.
That is crazy.
Cool, eh?
How long have you been collecting for?
My whole life, bro. Like I remember having marble collections when I was I've got 2 9-year-old twin boys. Even my 6-year-old now is already collecting little Hot Wheels. I was the same. I was collecting from when I was very, very small. It used to be silly stuff. Like I used to collect chewing gum, and my dad always used to say to me, Philip, chew it. It's going to go off. You don't. I used to collect. I used to keep them. And then it was marbles, and then it was basketball cards and Garbage Pail Kids cards. And then it became, it just carries on.
You were just a collector at heart, man. NFTs are perfect for you. Dude, interesting.
Yeah, exactly.
What's it called?
I'm listening, yes.
You know who Zach XBT is?
Yes.
Okay, dude. So he found a transaction where there was an interesting wallet on Solana, and it withdrew $70 million from USDC from FTX in the final hours before the withdrawal closed.
Lucky, eh? Wow.
It was probably this girl.
It was probably them. Yeah.
You seen? She's getting clowned on all over the internet right now.
Shame. She's the Alameda lady.
Is she? I thought she was Zach. I thought she was Sam Bankman-Fried's girlfriend, or like the girl he was messing around with.
The girl that's staying with him. I don't know.
Yeah, the girl that was staying with him in the Bahamas.
But there's a lot of stuff like what was happening was they were his father, and I don't know. There's a whole lot of family connections. Was working at Alameda, and this one was doing that. Like everyone in with everyone else, you know.
True.
Oh, Dekenza says she was both. She was running Alameda and she was shagging him. I wonder. The question is what came first, and I have no doubt the shagging came before he put her in Alameda.
I think there was shagging all along.
Yeah, CEO of Alameda and ex-girlfriend. Thank you, Dekenza. So you see, we were both right.
Hell yeah.
Okay, so what have we decided on here? Let's get a me bits and then 2 series 2 V.
Oh, I agree 100%. I think the way that you broke it down too. I mean, we chose at the end of the day the 3 largest ecosystems that are most likely to just weather the storm.
Yeah. So what else we could have done? We could have gotten a VFriend Series 1, and then instead of a Clone X, we could have gotten some of those boxes. That would have been another the RTKFT the boxes. We could get the new boxes because that will buy you into the ecosystem. Here we go, Monolith. So instead of Clone X being like 70%, which I'm happy with, but just to make it more sort of spread out, we could have bought a VFriend Series 1 at about 5 Ethereum. And then we could buy like this box, a Crypto Kicks, a couple of other RTKFT stuff to be in that ecosystem. And then also then possibly a dog, because we do know there's stuff happening there, or still keep with the Meebus. But then we got a more equal spread. Because at the moment we've got like 10% VFriends, 25% Yuga Labs, and 75% or whatever into Clone X, which I'm happy with, but maybe there's an argument to be spread out a bit more equally, right?
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, either
Yeah.
way, I don't know. I personally would like the Clone X because I just see a much more longevity because of the brand Nike that it has behind it. And I've always loved Clone X. I love Takashi Murakami. Like I was
Yeah.
making like the biggest deal. Like I was screaming from the top of my lungs that Takashi Murakami was coming into space and how like iconic he is. And I immediately was like, I couldn't believe that he got into NFTs. That's what that really set me off because I was like, oh my gosh, like if he's coming into the space, I can only imagine who else is paying attention. And it was just like from that point on, it was just Artifact just kept blowing up over and over. And it was just like if I could have gotten a Murakami trait, gosh, that would have been
Yeah.
awesome. But it is what it is. But yeah, I think with Nike and its brand, I think the longevity of
I agree.
Artifact, and I like that
I
they're
agree.
also very
And
into
they're
the
historical.
yeah, they're
They're
historical.
historical because they're the first clothing brand in Web2 to successfully come into Web3, which is
Adidas
great.
bunked. Puma is Gutter Cat Gang. I haven't seen anything, so I don't want to
So,
speak out of turn.
Adidas is very interesting to me because what I did, which is really quite interesting. Okay, so I'm going to tell you now, got CryptoDream saying he loves comic stuff, which is so cool. He says $545 for that Superman Hot Wheels, the
There
little
was some
Superman
I
Hot
saw
Wheels
some
one.
for like sold for like selling for like 11. I saw on eBay the most recent one that sold was like 274, I think it was. But I mean, they were
Mhm.
all over the place. I'm sure like yours has like all the specs of like never being opened or like mint.
Yeah. Never been touched at all and never will be.
Yeah, I
All
mean the
right,
last one that
so
sold was literally yesterday one sold.
yeah, there's definitely, and the nice thing about that is it covers two sides. It covers the Hot Wheel collectors and it covers the comic collectors.
Right.
Which is really cool. And yes, they are the same worlds, but they're very distinct collectors. You get guys who only collect Hot Wheels,
Speaking of comics,
and
did
then
you try getting the Superman comic, the Marvel one that just
so I
dropped?
got a oh no. So I used to have, I don't know, it's probably before your time, but Jughead and Archie. Don't know if you remember them, Archie comics. No. Okay, they were the G's. They were the Clone X of comics. They were so I had all of those when I was very, very young. But I don't know what happened to them. I think I used to read them. I never bought them to collect them. And then I never got back into comics again. And the thing with the comic world is, like anything, you actually really have to know what you're looking for, how to grade it to some degree. It's a really, if you want to collect comics successfully and profit off them, you
No,
need to
this was
have
an
a
NFT.
lot of knowledge.
This was an
Oh,
NFT.
a Superman comic NFT.
Yeah, from Marvel. It was like I think it sold for I think $10 or $90, one of those ranges, and then they were reselling for 10 grand.
Was it on Vivi? Where was
It
it?
was.
I tried Vivi. I tried.
There was
Literally, as it opens, it gets sold out every mint. You got no opportunity to mint.
that's what my
It's a
buddy was
pain.
saying. I forgot how many people he said tried minting, but it was an astonishing amount. I had another buddy who was trying to mint, and he was 64,000th in line. So talk about demand.
For sure. I'm thinking, I don't know how to actually do this. I'm thinking of maybe, I see a lot of guys saying about collections, thinking of maybe showing you something like moving the camera to my phone, collecting wirelessly, and walking around what I got behind me here and showing guys. Do you think that would be cool?
That
Because
would
I
be
got a
cool.
lot of shit.
I think that would be like a great finisher.
All right, let's do it. All right,
How are you
so
gonna?
what I'm going to
I'm really
do,
curious to
I'm
see
going to
how you're gonna do this.
I'm going to stay on the stream, but I'm going to disconnect.
No more stream. Wait, I wonder if it ended it on his end. No, he's still on the stream. So that's good. Let's see. Let's check out the chat. How is everybody? Everybody chatting it up. Chat. What's going on, Kosher Crew? It's your boy, Kosher Plug. What's going on, Squishy Squad? It's Bento here. What's going on? I'm Cade, living the joyage. Hey, what's going on, mate? The name is Tom Youngs. Hey, what's going on? I'm Zerk Pass. What's going on? Hey, what's going on? My name is Nikki G. I'm a G. Oh,
Whoa, we
was,
have just gone wireless. We
yo, that's
have
crazy.
just gone wireless
Let
streaming.
me see
Here's
your
the
setup.
setup.
Let me see your setup. Okay, so you got the ring light up there.
But I want to.
You got the microphone
Okay,
right
it's going to
there.
be a bit choppy, so I want to try and.
Where's your
Let me
camera?
see. Am I the wrong way here?
Where's your camera?
No, can you? My camera. I've put it. It's not Darcy. I had to unplug it to get here. Can you see?
Wait, oh, you use your iPhone for your camera?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Oh, wow, that's a nice collection.
Can you see?
Oh yeah, I can see.
So this is some of my Hot Wheels that haven't, the ones that haven't been opened, some of them, and you can see this is from a Beetle car. The display, that's the front. This red thing is the front of a Beetle,
That's pretty cool.
right? It's the like boot of a Beetle, and then I've got this whole display here. Okay, so that's the first Hot Wheels display. Then all these folders over here are garbage pail kids.
Oh really? That's funny.
Yeah, I think I need to unplug the mic and move Mark to here as well. Just give me 1 sec, otherwise you're not going to hear me. Just hold.
Oh, muted mic, muted mic. Oh, nice little AirPod stand. Got a nice little computer, HP. Got the setup with the iPhone for the camera. It's pretty cool. Just proves you don't need too much. I when I started, I was using a camera or my iPhone for my camera. Super easy to set up. I mean, it takes a little bit, but once you get the hang of it, it's super easy. Trying to see. Friday, Freestyle Friday. Let's chat NFTs. Oh yeah. Chat to us in the comments live. I like that little banner underneath. Let's engage. Oh yeah. Dot 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 dot. It goes dot 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 dot. If you haven't already hit the subscribe, make sure you're subscribing. Smash the like button. Even if you really want to get freaky with it, lick the like button. This is not financial advice. We are not financial advisors, and we know nothing. I mean, I know something about nothing. There you go.
Well, the audio, I think if I could play with it, I could get it to work on my phone, but it's not working.
No
So I'm
worries.
just going to show you guys. Okay, so this is the Garbage Pail Kids. I've got every single Garbage Pail Kid card that's ever been created, all the way from
Really?
Yeah, everyone has two variants. So you get the same picture, but with different names. So Nasty Nick and Evil Eddie. So I've got literally, like you can see, this is number 1A,
Those are cool. I
1B.
love those.
Have you seen them before?
Oh yeah,
No.
I used to have them. I used to just buy them. I used to like half-ass collect. Like I would buy them, collect them for like a little bit, then lose them. I used to do the only thing I could say I ever collected. I did this with that type of folder with basketball cards.
Yeah, so that's what these are here.
You have
Those are
every single one of them
basketball
ever
cards.
to be existed.
Ever made. Every single one of them ever to be made. Up
Wow.
to date, because they've done modern ones all the way up to date. Every
That's nuts.
single one ever made.
That's
There must
nuts.
be about 4,000 cards over there.
That's crazy. That's
Yeah,
a
so
lot.
that's that. Okay.
I love those.
And
Which one's
over
your favorite?
here, Atom Bomb.
Atom Bomb.
Over here we got, this is a really rare Superman over here. We got here these
Oh, I like that a
Brito.
lot.
Yeah, they're so cool. They're
I like
really
that a
cool.
lot.
Some Funko Pops. This is the Deadpool one. Then you got your James Bond car over there. Massive teeth.
Those are some huge teeth.
Yeah, they're just some huge teeth. Here's some of the stuff behind me. When you guys are, which you get to see. Here's Atom Bomb in real life. You got the Coca-Cola bottles here. You guys don't really get to see this so well, even though this is what you're looking at. Then we come to here. This is a pinball machine over here, but we'll get there.
Oh shit, the collection goes on. Wow.
Yeah. There's some more Funkos. And Deadpool. Let me put this on here.
Whoa, a big Deadpool guy. Big Deadpool guy.
Yeah. And little Deadpool guys. And over here, and this is the big Hot Wheels that I was showing you.
That's a really cool stand.
Yeah, it's just good space. You got your Back to the Future there. And this is my favorite one, the Ghostbusters.
That's really cool.
Yeah, and also massive. And some Coca-Cola stuff here. This is a pocket knife.
Whoa, that is a Swiss Army knife. Jesus Christ, that's huge.
Yeah. Crazy, eh?
That is nuts. You should choose an item that you just decide to talk about every single show. Like start it off with talking about one of your collections, just literally one of them. You'll have.
Cade said the same thing. This is all for my children, all different things for my children. And they made this for me on Father's Day, which is really cool. Then over here, we got the Coca-Cola stuff.
I feel like I'm hanging out with you at your house. This is cool.
Yeah, you are. Check here, all of this stuff. And this is a Jack Daniels case. It's like a cool.
That is pretty cool. It looks like a hard locker.
Yeah. And then we got some fire stuff over here. I don't know why, but I like it. And then here's this pinball machine, so that's where I stream from. You can see there.
Yeah.
And then up here's a man cave with a pool table and a whole lot of shit up there.
Oh, sweet.
Cool, hey?
I thought this was the man cave.
Here's some more Hot Wheels over here. All different Hot Wheels.
Wow. Yeah, you should definitely talk about one item every fucking show and then just fucking go at it and just talk about the significance of it. That's pretty cool. What's up with the chair? I want to talk about the chair. The chair is cool. Yeah.
Yeah, so Bianca, my wife's parents gave us their old, let me just turn this around, their old dining room suite, right? And they needed to be reupholstered. So we chose, like, all the chairs are different. All of them are completely different. And since then, we've gotten a new dining room suite completely. So we barely use the old one, but we use the chairs in different places around the house.
I like the
necklace. I don't know if you heard that.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. So that's it. That's a behind the scenes look.
That was a great finisher. That was the best. I think that was the best part of the show. I really enjoyed that. That was pretty cool. I feel like I got to see a different side of you.
Man, that's my passion. That's what got me into NFTs. I like 100%. Collectible stuff, you know.
Yeah, it makes sense. 100%. Totally makes sense.
For sure. Should we leave it there?
I think that was a perfect finisher. 100%.
100%. Andres, first of all, thank you for stepping in. You are welcome each and every week. We'll have you back with Cade, but it's been so much fun. Thank you.
Yeah, brother. Thank you so much for having me. This was an awesome show. And I really think my favorite part was just like seeing all that, because I can only imagine how long it took you to literally collect all that. Like, that was unbelievable.
I've had some of this stuff.
It's unbelievable.
I've had some of this stuff since I was a kid. I didn't even show you.
What was your earliest collection? What was the first one? I knew you'd know. I want to see is the first one. First one ever. Let's see. Will it be a Hot Wheels? Will it be a garbage?
No.
I have that.
Donkey Kong.
Yeah, that's the best. That's the best game in the world. My mom has that. I love that game so much.
You can see, I mean, I really played it when I was a kid. It's in terrible condition, but it still works.
That's great. Dude, you just brought absolute nostalgia. I'm so glad I asked.
And I've got lots of them, but this was my first one. I've got lots of different ones of these guys.
That's the best one. That makes me so happy, bro. That made my day. I'm so glad I asked.
Yeah, good question, man.
That was awesome, man. I used to play that game for hours.
Yeah, it was good. I had a couple of different ones for sure. So, guys, I mean, there was a whole lot more that we were going to get to, but you know what? I think that this is the perfect place to leave it. In the end of the day, walking around here maybe just shows us that there is life beyond NFTs, right?
Oh,
And
100%.
crypto. And yes, the crypto market is going through tough times, but just like life, there are times we go through tough times. And just like life, if you're committed to it, we come out the other side, and we are committed to it. The real builders in the space are building still, regardless of anything. The technology is not going anywhere whatsoever, the underlying technology. So just, the guys who are here, in the hardest times, you're going to see when it turns around, you're going to be the professionals. You're going to be the guys that are guiding the new people. So stay positive. Remember to be kind to each other. That's most important. And we look forward to seeing you next week for another awesome show of the Web3 show. Thank you, everybody.